Hello and welcome to Buckman's Model Mania. Today we're going to be working on the Moomin House Stage 19. We're doing a little bit to the cellar, working on the clock a little bit, and we're going back and doing some final finish work on parts from previous stages. So let me get the book opened up. And I have to say, I was kind of surprised that at the beginning when they provided the first paint, but ever since then they haven't provided any paint. So when you use other paints, it's a good idea to have some craft paint on hand. So we've got parts C1 and C2, plus, like I said, the clock. And the clock has three parts to it. Right for this one part, it has the clock glass right here. You got the clock main case and the clock case, which is already in place here. So let me go ahead and get these parts out of the plastic and we will start building stuff. I think it is really kind of cool that they continue to give additional parts rather than just these two parts and then away you go. Let me see, C1, C2, they're actually the same size because one's going to go, they're going to go this way. So let me go ahead and rotate this. Let me see, C2 to the front. So C2 should go on here like this. Hopefully it is very, very snug. Make sure. Yeah, it's just a little bit of a push there. And then C1, just looking, C1, same thing. Label should be facing me. Like I said, really snug on both of them. And it points out to make sure, sorry, out of camera, points out to make sure that these curved pieces are in line with the outer edge. Let's see. It says to secure it with masking tape while the glue dries. I will actually be using my clamps again. So let me get C2, let me get both of them off. I think we're going to do C1 first because C1 is really tight in there. So let me throw some glue in here. A little bit at the outer edge here. Trying not to, like I just did here, get it on the bottom of these tabs because these tabs are actually going to stick beyond or stick into the bottom, and I don't want to glue it down to the table. You may notice I'm not doing a whole lot yet inside these grooves. That comes now. Just a really small bead down inside of there. With this being a wood glue, it will actually grab hold really well. So you can see down inside there, I put a nice little bead in there. So like I said, it's just going to go down in here. Again, got to spread it just a hair to get it to go down. Truthfully, the clamps are not needed because it is pushed down pretty well. Still going to do it. I'm going to put a clamp here. Again, shifting the thing. It shifted with the pad when I clamped it. And then another one here. And so let me just set that off to the side and take about a 10-minute pause while I let that dry. Okay, while I've let this dry, I've also gone back and did a little bit of primering with white paint on these parts that are going to be painted in a little bit. New paint. Different color, they're going to be painted brown instead. So let me put some glue on here. And if I leave the tip on this open, if I don't cover it up, the glue dries in the needle, just in the pipe. A little bit difficult to get glue out then. Sometimes it'll come out in a blob, but I just use a pin. I use a pin to clear that tip, and then it should flow decently after that. This is really thick glue, so it takes a little bit of pressure, and it's not wanting to cooperate. So yeah, that's not playing nice. Let me pause for a second while I clean the tip on it. Okay, got the glue working at least a little bit. It just wasn't doing anything at all before. Still got to put a pretty good pressure on it. There's going to be a blob that comes out here in a minute. There, it's blocked up again. I can actually see the tip of the blob right there. There we go, starting to flow again. Taking some pretty serious pressure to get it to go, though. And it just got glue all over my thumb. Put some in here. There we go. It's actually flowing better now. That's the problem with this really small diameter pipe. Sometimes it works really well, sometimes it doesn't. And like I said, I have to remember to actually put the top on here. Because if you don't, it doesn't take very long for it to dry up. Make sure I've got this on the right way. C2 is facing me. Comes down here. Again, gotta flex a little bit. Pop it down in there. Clamp it. These clamps are just so awesome. I love them. Holds much better than some masking tape would. Make sure I got the right one. Do it on this side. And it's not a really strong pressure. It's just enough to hold it together. Oops, keep knocking that over. So let me pause again and we'll come back once that's dry. Okay, I'm going to call this good. Let me go ahead and take these clamps off. And that, for this stage, is all there is to do on here. And what's going to happen is there's going to be a part that slides in and out of here. Not sure yet where, but somewhere on this level is where the power is going to come in as well. Not sure, like I said, not sure how I'm going to do that for the rest of it. It's up in the air until I see how things go. So, let's see, it says you fixed 2 more basement walls in place. They form basic structure. Assembly continues in the next issue. So we now take the clock. And actually I'm going to keep the clock in it after it's assembled. take the clock and you remove the protective film on both sides of the glass. Ah, okay. Well, here's the clock. I'm not sure. Don't think that's a magnet, but let's find out. No, not magnetic. So it says to remove the protective film on both sides. There's one side. Of course, static cling again, similar to the way it was in stage 18. If I can get rid of that. There we go. And I'm going to set this down on here. Hold it with the edges, at the edges with my finger. And then peel the film off the other side. Like that. Let's see, slide the upper part. Apply quick drying glue, also known as super glue. So let me slide this back on here the way it was originally. And now you have the clock face in there. And yes, this is make work. Got the clock face in there. Let me lay this on its face real quick. And it says to apply quick drying glue around this edge. Best quick drying glue that I can think of. Not in this piece though. I was about to put glue in where I'm going to put the clock back into. But put a little bit of CA in here. Set that over there, grab my pin vise, and holding this in place because it'll fall right off. Just run a little bit. Move these because I was probably out of frame right there. Just a little bit around the edges here. And it doesn't have to be all the way around the edges, just a couple of spots to hold it in place. Back down all the way, hold it for a minute. And I'm doing this by holding it with my thumbnail, not my finger. That way I don't get glued to the clock. That should, yeah, that's got it. So there's the clock done. Come on, focus. There's the clock done, and you can see a little bit of shininess on the back there where I put the glue. Let's see if I can, without gluing a paper towel to it, see if I can wipe off the excess. So the clock can now go back in here. And I've got to mix up some paint for these two. For the steps, it says to use dark brown, black paint, and then white paint, actually for the coat rack. And then a lighter brown for the steps. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. We'll come back once those are dry. I'll show you how they look. Okay, I have the step stool painted. You know, it helps. I'm trying to show it to a camera, and it would help a lot if I had that camera active. So there's the step stool. And the focus on this is not as good as the other one. Matter of fact, I'm going to switch back. There's a step stool. You can see a little bit of brush marks. I'm not too worried about that. Might do another coat later. And the coat rack. No longer white and splotchy. It's now brown and splotchy. Like I said, go back and do another coat after it completely dries, just touch up, because I have to mix the paint for that. So that's all there is to do in this stage. They have some stuff about making a vase, but I'm not going that deep on this project. So, like I said, that's all there is to do in this stage. Hope you're enjoying this. I'm having a blast with this. Come on over to Hobby Time Mobbers on YouTube, Facebook, and Discord. See what we're doing. Like and subscribe. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I will see you on the next video.